Alright guys, how we doing? It's Mr. Brooks. This is your geometry midterm, so Merry Christmas. Hopefully this video works out okay. Hopefully you like it. Make sure you use the pause button, and I'll keep reminding you, and I'll remind you, physically when you're taking this too. Use the pause button after every question, that way you don't get behind, okay? If you have any questions, make sure you come and see me. Good luck. Okay, here you go. Number 1 wants to know, what is the next figure do you expect? Okay, and your figures looking right here. Okay, pay attention to where you start, where it's going, and A, B, C, or D. What do you think is coming next? All right. As I read these questions, just hit pause, and then you can move on to the next one. Number 2, what is the next number you expect? So you have 1, 2, 4, 7, and 11. Look for the pattern and determine which one is next. A is 14, B 16, C 15, and D 17. And number 3 wants to know which of the following is a counterexample of the conjecture below. So which of these is going to prove it wrong is what we're looking for here. So here's the conjecture. An even number divided by an odd number will yield a repeating decimal. Okay? So you got an even number like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, okay? Divided by an odd number, that's like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. What they're saying is that will equal, or that will give you a repeating decimal, like a repeating decimal would look like this, 0.3333, and it would keep on going, okay? So which of these 4, A, B, C, or D, proves it wrong? Okay, on number 4, they ask which statement is false. Okay, which of these statements is not true? You want to take a close look at this picture over here on the side, okay? So, is it BE, ray BE contains segment BF? Is it B, G, D, and A are all collinear? Is it C, E, B, M, and F are coplanar? Or is it D, H lies on line KC? Which of these are false? On number 5, planes L and M intersect where? Okay, so you got plane L, which is this dude right here, okay, and then you've got plane M, which is over here. So you can kind of see, where do they intersect at? That's what we're looking for here, okay? Where do they intersect? What would you call that? Is it A, plane K, B, point A, C, line J, or D, line G? Again, just hit pause, and then that way you don't get behind. Number 6, which of the line segments in this coordinate plane are congruent? Congruent, again, means equal, okay? You might want to remember the formula here to find the length, okay? You could probably just count. For example, I could say C to D here. I'd say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, okay? So that would be a good way to go about figuring out how long they are, okay? And your choices are A, GH, and FE, B, AB, and CD, C, EF, and AB, or D, GH, and AB. On number 7, take a look at this diagram, okay, this picture right here. What is the length of DF, okay? What is the length of DF? So let me just erase my circle here real quick. All right, D to F. Okay, so that's from here to here, how far is this all the way across? Okay, is it A 25, B 23, C 5, or D 33? On number 8, we want you to find the measurement of ABC. That's this big, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, not the big angle, but the smaller, the one that's kind of bigger like this. That's ABC right there. Okay, this arc going right here, this 120, that's the whole thing. Okay, and 25, he's just the little one. So you need to do a little math, use your calculator, figure out what's ABC, the blue one. Is it 80, B 120, C 145, or D 95? Okay, here's number 9. The measure of angle C is 120 degrees, or 123, I'm sorry, 123. What type of angle is angle C if it's 123 degrees? Is it A, acute? Is it a cute little guy? B, obtuse? C, right? Or D, straight? Number 10. Name an angle in the figure that appears to be obtuse. Obtuse. Okay. So is it angle ACB? So that would be this dude right here. ACB, this angle. Is it CED? So CED is right here. Okay, and actually let me fix this. I'm going to write this a little different. So here's your choice for A. Here's choice B in this angle. Choice C is BCD. So BCD, that's right here. This is choice C right here on the outside. Or is it D, angle A, which would be right here? Okay. Which one appears to be obtuse? On number 11, what number comes next in the sequence do you expect to see? So we start off with 4488, 44,088, 440,088, and then 4,400,088. So take a look at A, B, C, and D. I'm not going to even try to read all those necessarily, but which do you think would be the next one to come in the pattern? On number 12, we want to know which statement is a counterexample to this conjecture. And now here's a conjecture. It's that the square of any integer, which is a number, is greater than that actual integer. So you take any number and square it. It's always going to be bigger than the number you're actually squaring. Now, which one of these makes it false? Is it F? 4 squared is greater than 4? Is it G? Negative 3 squared is greater than 3? Is it H? 0 squared is not greater than 0? Or is it J? 200 squared is not greater than 200? On number 13, which of these statements is false? So take a look at the drawing up here, and which one of these are false? Is it A, that point R is between point N and point Q? Is B false, that point N, point R, and point Q are coplanar? Is C false, point X, point N, and point R are collinear? Collinear. Or is it D, point S, point R, and point X are collinear? Now remember, coplanar, like up here in B, that means all the points are on the same plane. Like your desktop, that's a plane. And then your answers in C and D, they're talking about collinear. Collinear means on the same line. But which one of these statements is false? So go ahead and hit the pause button and take a good look at it. Number 14, which of the points lies on ray SR? So ray SR, and it's going all the way through right there like that. Ray SR starts with S. S is the starting point, okay? Which of these points lies on it? Is it point Q, H, point P, G point T, or J point U. Okay, number 15. Just asking which set of line segments in this coordinate grid are congruent to each other. Okay, so again, if it were me, I would just simply count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. AB is 5 units long, okay? So you got 4 choices here, number 15. You've got segment AB and CD. Letter B is EF and AB. C is CD and GH. And D is AB and GH. So hit the pause and take your time, make sure you get them right. Congruent means equal. And number 16, we want to know what is the value of PQ. So from P to Q, right there. How long is that? So use your calculator, do a little simple math. Is it F4, G6, H8, or J9? Okay, and number 17, we want to use this picture to figure out which of these answers, A, B, C, or D, are false. Okay, so what's false? And this up here, that's 146 degrees, just so you know. All right. So is it A, that angle 1 would be 34 degrees? Would he be 34? Okay. Would it be B, that 2 would be 146? Okay, think of that. Would it be C, that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, meaning they're equal? Or would it be D, that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3? Okay. Remember, we're wanting to know which one of these are false, which one's not true. Number 18, what is the conclusion of the following statements? If today is Saturday, then tomorrow is Sunday. So what's the conclusion? Is it F, that today is Saturday? Is it G, that today is Sunday? Is it H, that tomorrow is Saturday? Or J, that tomorrow is Sunday? Hit the pause, think about that. Which is the conclusion? If today is Saturday, then tomorrow is Sunday. And number 19, which property is illustrated by the following statement? So here's your statement right here. If angle 1 is equal to angle 2, then angle 2 is equal to angle 1. It's just kind of back and forth. Is that A, the symmetry property of equality? B, the symmetric property of congruence? Is it C, the transitive property of equality? Or D, the transitive property of congruence? Okay, number 20. You got to fill in the blank here. Your choices are A, intersecting, B, parallel, C, perpendicular, or D, skew. So listen carefully. 2 lines are blank lines if they lie in the same plane and do not intersect. So the key right here is same plane and they don't intersect. So just kind of read it back to yourself. Just kind of say 2 lines are intersecting, or 2 lines are parallel, or 2 lines are perpendicular, or 2 lines are skew. And think about same plane and don't intersect. Okay, guys, we are on number 21. Okay, and you need to find X. And P and Q, those lines are perpendicular. They make a 90-degree angle, okay? So you need to figure out what you've got to do in order to take this angle and this angle, that's 62 degrees, and find a value of X. But remember, together they're going to make 90 degrees. On number 22, A and B are parallel. So which angles are congruent? Okay, which ones are congruent, meaning equal? Is it A, you got 3 and 6. So I'm just going to write letter A there to show you those are the angles for A. Is it B, 3 3 and 8? Is it C, which is 2 and 5? Oh, shoot. Sorry, I wrote the wrong thing there. Meant to write letter C there. There we go. 2 and 5. Or is it D? None of them are equal or congruent. Okay, so look at the letters, kind of help you figure out which ones are congruent, okay? Again, hit the pause button after questions to give yourself some time to work. On number 23, you're to choose the coordinate notation that describes a translation from the red one, which is ABC, to the blue one. So that it's being translated, it's being kind of shifted from the right to the left, okay? So is it A, the X is being moved 5 units and the Y 1? Is it B, the X is being moved 5 units, plus 5, and Y minus 1? If it's plus 5, it means it's going to move to the positive. If it's minus, it's going to move to the negative on the coordinate plane. So take a look at which way this is going from right to left. Is it C, it's X minus 5 and then Y plus 1? Or D, X minus 5 and Y minus 1? Take a moment to look at that. On number 24, M, that's this point right here. He's the midpoint of that segment LN. You need to find the value of X. You've got 2X minus 7, and this side's 43. Now remember, if he's the midpoint means it's going to split something in half. So use that to figure out how to set up an equation with the 2X minus 7 and the 43, and find the value of X. Number 25, what are the coordinates of a midpoint if the segment joining is at 1, 1 and negative 5, 7? So you got to use the midpoint formula here to find the midpoint. You're going to take the X's and the Y's here. We'll write that down. Alright, so to find that midpoint, you just got to take the two X coordinates, divide by 2, and then you got to take the two Y coordinates, add them together, and divide by 2. Whether it's Y2, Y1, or X1, X2, doesn't matter, you're adding them together. And that's going to give you your coordinates for number 25, the midpoint. Number 26, you've got the large angle, which is DEG there. They want to know what is DEF. That's this part right here, just that little one. The whole thing is 57, and it's bisected, okay? This EF right there bisects it, so it splits it in half. So what's the measurement of just this part right there? Number 27, what is the measure of a supplement of a 41-degree angle? Key word here being supplement. If something's supplementary, they got to add up to what degrees? Okay, so one angle's 41, what's the other one got to be? Number 28, you've got angle 1 and angle 2 are both complementary to 3. If angle 2 is 73, what's angle 1 got to be? Alright, remember the word complementary and how many degrees that's got to add up to. Don't forget to hit pause and work it out. Okay guys, number 29. Want to know what's the measurement of angle BEC? So that's going to be this large angle right here. How many degrees is he? Now remember, think about, you got this dude over here that's 38. So together they're going to make a straight line. Okay, so you need to tell us what's the measurement of BEC. Is it A 142, B 76, C 112, or D 114? Number 30, we're going to use the diagram to find the measurement of FDG. FDG. So that's right here. That's this 10x right here. Okay? So you've got these two angles right here, here, and here. They're back to back to each other, which probably means they're congruent. So you've got the 10x and the 4x plus 90. Set up an equation, solve for x. Once you find x, plug it back in here with that 10 to find out how many degrees FDG is. Okay, so use some common sense here, but is it A 15, B 120, C 150, or D 130? Take your time on that, be very careful. Number 31, which statement illustrates the transitive property of equality? Transitive property. Is it A, Lm equals Lm? B, if Lm is equal to Np, then Np is equal to Lm. Would it be C, if Lm equals Qr, then Qr plus Lr equals Qr plus Lr? Have we ever talked about that one? Or is it D, if Lm is equal to Np and Np is equal to Qr, then Lm is equal to Qr? Okay, take a moment, think about that. Hit pause if you need to. On number 32, the letter S, point S right here, he is the midpoint of the whole segment RT. RS, this part right here, is 23. Okay? They want to know what is the distance of RT, the whole thing. Okay? How long is that? Is it A 10.5, B 11.5, C 23, or D 46? On number 33, what are the coordinates of a midpoint of a segment joining 4, -5 and -2, -1? Remember, we had a question like this a little bit back. You take the x's, add them together and divide by 2. That gives you the x coordinate. Then you take the y's, okay, and divide by 2. Then that gives you your y coordinate. So you're going to get F 2, -6, G 1, -2, H 1, -3, or J -8 and 5. Remember to hit pause so that way you got time to work. Number 34, SU, that is this line's, this ray, I should say, right here, SU, it bisects. Remember, bisects, cuts something in half. So we need to know the value of x. So you've got one, this angle is 12x minus 5, and this one is 27. So if it's bisected, it means those two angles are equal to one another. Set up your equation and solve for x. Do you get A 11, B 16, C 49, or D 54? And number 35, if angle 5 and angle 6 are both supplementary, supplementary is a key word right here, to angle 7. If 5 is 17, then what is 6 if they're supplementary? Is it F17, G73, H163, or J180? Remember, hit pause, that way you don't get behind on the next question. Number 36, you've got DE, which is a line right here, and you've got CF, which is over here. Okay, what kind of lines are those? Are they A parallel, B perpendicular, C skew, or D intersecting? Number 37. On 37, I'm sorry. We want to know what is the measure of 4 if J and K are perpendicular. JK, hey, they're perpendicular, so it means they make a 90-degree angle here, okay? So you got 58 here. We want to know what is angle 4, okay? Is he 22, 32, 90, or D 122? Figure that out. Number 38, we got to use this diagram on the right here. Name a pair of alternate meaning, you got to have an angle on each side of that transversal, and interior angles. So your transversal is going to be this dude right here cutting through the middle. Okay? You name me a pair of alternate interior. Is it 1 and 4? So I'll put the letter A for 1 and the letter A there for 1 and 4. Are those alternate interior? Is it B 3 and 6? Is it C 3 and 7? Or is it D 2 and 7? So who is alternate interior? Number 39, what's the measure of angle 1 right here? How many degrees is he? Pay close attention to this guy right there. It might help you out. So is A 47, B 57, C 133, or D 143? What is the value of x in number 40? Okay, what is the value of x? These lines are parallel. Okay, so you got to think about what kind of angles are these. Okay, they're on the same side and they're on the interior. Okay, check your notes, set up an equation, solve for x. Is x 6? Is he B9? Is he C12 or is he D15? Don't forget to look at your study guide. Make sure you hit pause, that way you give yourself plenty of time to work on the questions. Okay, 41. This line and this line here, they are parallel to each other. So which of these statements are true that I'm going to read off here? Is it A, that angle 1 and angle 6 are equal? So I wrote the letter A there in the angles again to help show you who we were talking about. Is it B, 3 and 8? Are those equal? Is it C, 1 and 7? Are those equal? Or is it D, 2 and 6? Which ones are equal? Okay guys, number 42, we need to find the value of x, and this is 15x. And take a look here, this guy here is going to be 90 degrees. Now these two lines are parallel, so use the information you know, set up an equation in a way that you can solve for x. Is x A6, B75, C9, or D90? In number 43, which lines must be parallel? Okay, kind of try to highlight them here for you here a little bit. Okay, change the pen a little bit. Okay, is it A, J, and K? Or those must be parallel. Now before you go thinking too much here too, guys, pay attention to these tick marks right here. Or the arc marks, I'm sorry, those arc marks. Pay attention to those. That'll help you determine which lines are going to be parallel. Okay, so A was J and K. B is K and M. There's K, there's M. Are those parallel? Would it be L and M? Here's L, there's M. Again, pay attention to those arcs. Or would it be D, none? Okay, so which ones do you think are parallel? Again, here in number 44, we want to know which lines must be parallel. Okay, use those arc marks. You know, you take a look at those. The single ones would be equal, the doubles would be equal to each other. So who's got to be parallel? Is it A, which is just A and B? Would it be B, which is P and Q? Would it be C, which is B and C only? Or is it all three? Okay, A, B, and C. Okay, who's got to be parallel? And I'll erase all my lines to kind of get them out of your way here. Might make it a little bit easier for you to see. Okay. There we go. Take your time, hit pause, that way you stay caught up. Number 45, we're talking about a translation here. They want to know what's the coordinates of B prime. So like here's B, this is your starting point for the regular B. And we're translating it on the X -4 and on the Y +3. So think about it. If the x is going -4, what directions does it need to go? And then the y is +3, where does it got to go? Then which of these coordinates would be correct? A, -9 and 3, B, -7 and 0, C, -6 and 6, or D, -4 and 3. On number 46, what type of triangle is ABC? Okay, pay close attention here. Is it A, acute isosceles? Look at those tick marks. There's 2 of them. Is it B, right scalene? C, right isosceles? Or D, obtuse scalene? Number 47, what is the measure of angle D? Okay, angle D is right here. What's the measure of him? Use what you know about how many degrees there are in a triangle. Is it A, 40, B, 60, C, 70, or D, 80? On number 48, we want to know what is the measure of angle 1. That's this angle right here. Okay? Now remember, when we got this exterior angle given to us out here, to get that 125, you got to add these two together to equal him. So what would you do to figure out angle 1? Would angle 1 be A, 55, B, 60, C, 62, or D, 65? In number 49 here, you got to set up an equation. You need to find the value of x, okay? So this angle is the 8x minus 6. This angle is a right, so he's 90 degrees. And then you got to 32. So remember how many degrees are total in a triangle. So use all this given information, set up an equation, solve for x. Is it A, 4, B, 5.6, C, 8, D, 8.2? Take your time. Make sure you hit the pause button. Alright, give yourself plenty of time to work. Let me know if you need help. In number 50, we want to figure out what's the measure of angle A. Now here's the kicker. We know that because of these 2 tick marks, these 2 angles opposite of each other are going to be equal. They're going to be the same. So you've already been given one angle as 120. And you know there's 180 in a whole triangle. So use some common sense. Figure out what is A. Actually, A and C will be equal. Use a little common sense to figure out what's the measurement of angle A going to be. Is it A, 30, B, 45, C, 60, or D, 90? Okay, number 51. Little Pythagorean theorem here, guys. Just remember, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, we want to know what is the length of GH. That's your hypotenuse since it's opposite the 90. Okay, so he's got to be side C, right? So you label A and B. You got your sides there, 5 and 12. Plug them in. Let's figure it out. Is it A11, B13, C15, D17? Take your time. Use your calculator. Okay, guys, number 52. You got to find the distance between these 2 points. So if this is your x1, y1, this is your x2, and your y2. Use the distance formula. I'll write it again here for you. You subtract these x's and square it, and then add that to subtracting the y's and squaring it all underneath the radical. You could plug in this whole part into your calculator. Okay, leave it under a radical because look, all your answers are in a radical. You got A radical 10, B radical 34, C radical 58, or D radical 82. Hit pause and take your time. Number 53, we want to know what kind of a triangle is this. Now we're given our sides of 8, 14, and 21. Plug those into your Pythagorean theorem, right? And remember, if they come out equal, it'll be a right triangle. If A and B come out bigger than C, it's going to be an acute. But if they turn out to be less than C, remember it'll be an acute angle, okay? So use that information to figure it out. Is it going to be A acute, B right, C obtuse, or D equal angular? Take your time. Number 54, which of these angles are in the right order from the smallest to the largest? Now pay attention to your sides. Remember, the length of the side has to do with the length of the angle. So is it smallest to largest? Is it A, which is ABC, B, which is CAB, C, which is BAC, or D, which is CBA? Smallest to largest. Number 55, you need to classify or name this triangle by its angles and by its sides. So you got a couple sides given, you got the right angle there given to you. Is it A, acute, scalene, B, obtuse, isosceles, C, acute equilateral, or D, right isosceles? Okay, number 56 here. Now you got a right angle here, so he's 90 degrees. We want to know what BCD is, that angle right there. What's that measure? So now remember, if this is 35 and this one's 90, what do you do to those two angles to figure out that fellow right there? So what are you going to get? Is it F 35, G 90, H 125, or J 180? Guys, you should be able to use common sense alone, if you know anything about angles, would tell you what the right answer is on this one. Okay, take your time. Hit pause, that way you're not going on to the next question too soon. Number 57, we've got a triangle. Okay, there's a triangle, and two sides have lengths of 14 feet and 22 feet. Which of these lengths, A, B, C, or D, cannot be the length of this third side? Remember, if you add the two smaller ones together, they've got to be bigger than the third side. So which one can it be? Is it A8, B12, C14, or D20? On number 58, which of these sides are in the correct order from the longest, from the longest to the shortest? Remember, those all have to do with your angles. You got a 35, 70, and a 75, and they all will go across to each other. So, smallest angle, smallest side. Is it F, EF, DF, and DE? Would it be G, DF, EF, or DE, H, DE, DF, or EF? Or would it be J, EF, DE, DF? I would number the sides, like if this, just for example, if this were like the smallest, the middlest, or the biggest, I'd write them like that. That way, you know, it gets confusing listening to me read those answers like that. Okay, take your time. Number 59, we're down to the last 5 problems here. What's the distance between these 2 points? Now remember, this would be your x1 and your y1. This would be the x2, and this would be the y2. Use that distance formula that I had you look at earlier. Subtract the x's and square the answer. Subtract the y's and square that. So you get A 34, B 8.5, C radical 74, or D 18. What's the distance? Number 60, you got to classify this triangle. Look at the sides. You got 4, 7, and 8. Is this a right, acute, equal angular, or obtuse? You may want to use the Pythagorean theorem here. Plug in the sides, figure it out. Remember what I told you earlier. If they're equal, if they're greater, the sides A and B, if they're greater than C, what is it? Or if the sides A and B together are smaller, what do you call it? Take your time. Make sure you hit pause. Number 61, in the triangle that we have a picture of here, what's the value of x? Okay, notice that all 3 sides are equal. So if the sides are equal, it means all the sides are what? Set yourself up an equation and find x. Is it A4, B7, C8, D, 14. Hit pause now if you want, that way give yourself some time. Number 62 here, which angles are alternate interior? So we'll kind of do like I did before. Is it F, 3, and 9? Is it G, 6, and 7? Is it H, 5, and 8? Or is it all of them? All of them are alternate interior. Okay? Figure that out. Last one, number 63. If two lines form adjacent congruent angles, then the lines are what? So think about it. If you got two lines and they form adjacent congruent angles, are they parallel, perpendicular, H skew, or G collinear? Make sure you check through everything. Make sure you've answered every question on the test. If you need help, come see me. Again, take your time. Hope you enjoyed listening. Have a good one. Bye.